So when we were multiplying, we talked about the difference of squares, and now we're going to use that for factoring. So we said if you have a plus b times a minus b, then when you multiply that out, the middle terms drop out if you FOIL it, and you just have a squared minus b squared. So that's what we mean by the difference, is subtraction of two squares, or the difference of squares. The first term's a perfect square and the last term's a perfect square. There's only two terms and it's subtraction. Well, now we're going to take, if it follows this form, then we can factor it over here. Okay, so this is my favorite. It comes up a lot, and there's not a lot of writing. Once you see it, then you go, oh, okay. So they go really fast. So is this a perfect square, 9x squared? Yes. In fact, you could write it as 3x squared. Now what about 25? That's a perfect square. You could write that as 5 squared. So here's your a, here's your b. How does this factor then? It's going to factor into a plus b times a minus b. So it's going to be 3x plus 5 times 3x minus 5. And that's the answer. Now you might have a couple questions. First of all, does it matter if you put the plus one first or the minus one first? No, it doesn't matter. I always put the addition one first. Then you might be saying, well, that's like a magic trick. Like, how do I know that really works? You could multiply it out, FOIL. So f, 9x squared, o, negative 15x, I, positive 15x, and L, negative 25. But what happens right here with the negative 15x and the positive 15x? They add up to 0, so you get 9x squared minus 25. And that's what we started with. So that checks. Okay, so these can go kind of fast. I don't even usually write this step, but I will this time just so you can see it. But 81y squared, that's like 9y squared minus, and then that's a perfect square, 10 squared. So I'm going to go 9y plus 10 and 9y minus 10. And you can multiply it out with FOIL and it would work. One note, you should always check and see if there's a GCF first. Sometimes there is, so don't get caught on that. And also make sure it's the difference, make sure it's subtraction. Sometimes students get caught on that and they'll put an addition sign in there and they're like trying to factor it and you can't. Okay, good luck. Those are fun ones.